Good morning. The NFP is up Friday, and Reuters this morning is revealing a worrying Fed report that the labor market is in much worse trouble than it seems. Let's see what else is in the brew. The S&P and Nasdaq yesterday recovered from the Memorial Day weekend, falling less than 0.1% each, while the Russell 2000 added about 114. The dollar is currently on an upward trek despite disappointing construction spending in April, but thanks to a half-point improvement in May's manufacturing PMI. At 11 a.m. GMT, we'll be getting mortgage data from the past week, then the Fed's beige book. Of all currencies falling against the dollar this morning, the loonie is least damaged thanks to yesterday's excellent 1.1% GDP increase month-on-month from March in Canada. The quarterly reading is down to 1.4%, and annualized Q1 to a concerning 5.6%. From 9.3 the year before. Still, as you can see, the moving average is already rising, so we'll have to await this afternoon's data to see how strong the greenback's recovery truly is. The DAX led European benchmarks higher yesterday with nearly a full percent, followed by the FTSE at 0.82. The Union's May CPI increased to precisely 2% in May, while the Swiss franc is down a tenth on a 0.5% contraction in Switzerland's GDP. Retail sales in April, however, grew at a rate of 35.7%. Meanwhile, unemployment in Germany remains at a steady 6%, while the manufacturing PMI there exceeded expectations with a 1-point drop to 64.4. In the UK, that indicator was down to 65.6, disappointing expectations. Meanwhile, Reuters reports an 11% surge in housing prices throughout the UK, and that's causing inflation concern among central bankers. Later this morning, we'll have Britain's mortgage data and consumer credit for April, followed by PPIs from the Union. The yuan registered a sharp 5-pip drop from its 3-year high at 4 a.m. GMT, as manufacturing activity in May in China added a tenth of a point to 52. Concern about the currency was sparked by an official news agency warning against speculation in the currency, perhaps indicating that the government would interfere. On a brighter note, the WHO has approved that nation's Sinovac anti-COVID shot, just as cases in the Guangdong region surge. Also, Reuters reports a meeting between Vice Premier Liu He and U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen on economic matters. Chinese indices are all down this morning, with Australia and Japan bucking the Asian trend at 0.93 and 0.44% respectively. The Aussie reversed to the tune of 30 pips, regaining, relosing, and regaining its losses in sporadic fluctuations throughout the session as data came in. Manufacturing markers improved marginally, while building approvals in April contracted 8.6% month-on-month. That's following a 19% increase the month before. Australia's current accounts in Q1 came in with an $18.3 billion surplus, for more than last year's final quarter. The best we could say on the daily level here is that we're erratic. The RSI seems to have taken a decision and it's southward bound, but yesterday's volumes seem to be more in favor of the bulls. We'll just have to wait and see if support at 77.41 holds, because if not, we're looking at another 25-pip drop at least. Tonight at midnight, Australia's final GDP for this past quarter. Reuters is saying 1.8%, meaning pre-pandemic levels. Oil continues up this morning, with the API and EIA delaying reports by a day following the long weekend. Saudi Arabia's Energy Minister bin Salman indicated an improvement in demand as OPEC Plus ratified increasing output in July, with Iran apparently back online presumably in August. And Bitcoin continues wavering at a 4-month low, just as Coinbase announces the syncing of its Visa debit card with Google and Apple Pay. The arrangement automatically converts a user's crypto wallet tokens, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever, to point-of-pay currency. Gold had a dark day yesterday, losing over $20 per troy ounce. Support at 1897 should hold for now, considering an oversold RSI, and we're so far below that moving average. After that, we'll have another strong support level at 1890 to contend with, but concerns over Friday's NFP report could easily return gold to the uptrend. Hewlett-Packard yesterday surprised to the upside in quarterly earnings with $6.7 billion in revenues. That's an 11% improvement. Zoom saw a 191% increase in revenues for Q1 to $956 million, while Canopy Growth disappointed by $4 billion in revenues, now down to $148.5 billion. AMC is up 23%, well, much, much more, after the Nudrick Cap hedge fund sold off its stake in the chain. The U.S. Supreme Court has rejected Johnson & Johnson's bid to reverse $2 billion in damages to people who suffered from asbestos-inclined cancer from its talc. And finally, Amazon's CEO has said the company now supports federal legalization of marijuana. Now that their workforce is nearly all robots, they just can't wait to get their hands on all those extremely light but valuable deliveries. That's all for today. Stay green.